Welcome to this video where we are going to be comparing with strips. Chicken strips. Unfortunately, I mean fraction strips. That's what we're going to be comparing with. And fraction strips are like pieces of paper or strips of paper. So for example, like this. Okay, that wasn't the best, but hey, I tried. So that's like a strip of paper. And I'm going to show you how we'll compare fractions using strips. Now, when we compare with strips, let's say we want to compare 2/3 and 3/5. What we have to do is make two congruent strips. Congruent means the same size and shape. We wouldn't want to make one strip like this and another strip like this, because if we're comparing fractions, we want to be able to compare using equal strips, equal length, equal size. So this doesn't really look very well. Neither do we want to do something like this, where I create one strip here and another strip over here. Imagine if we were running a race. Here's the starting line, while one of the strips has a head start, so it's tough to compare which one would be faster. Even though strips can't run, you get the idea. So instead, we want to create congruent strips, or equal. That's what congruent means. Now before I draw my strip, I'm going to look and see in the first fraction, 2/3, we're comparing out of 3. So we're going to highlight or fill in 2 out of 3 spaces. And in the second fraction, we're going to fill in 3 out of 5 fractions. 3 out of 5 spaces, I should say. So what we need to start with is thinking about how long do we want our strip to be. We don't want it to be too short like this, and we certainly don't need it to be really big like that, perhaps. So we have to think about the length that we want our strip to be. So the way I determine how long I want my strip to be is like this. I want a number that both 3 and 5 can go into. So that's like, what number, if I count by 3s and if I count by 5s, do they share? What's an equal number for them? Well, what I would do is start by counting by 3s. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, and 27. I'll stop there. Now I'm going to count by 5s. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. You know what? I'm going to stop there because I saw or heard a number that they share. 15. Yeah, we want like the smallest number they share. That's good. Okay, so 15 is the number. So that means I'm going to draw strips that are 15 centimeters long. Now, I'm not just going to eyeball it and draw what I think is 15 centimeters long. You'll find out soon why we don't want to do that. I want strips that are exactly 15 centimeters. So you know what I'm going to use? I'm going to use this amazing device they've invented. It's called a ruler. Okay, so I'm going to draw 15 centimeter strips because 15 was the number that both 3 and 5 could go into. 3 and 5 are my denominators. So my first strip will look like this. I'm doing it as neat as I can. My second strip I'm going to make congruent. So it's going to start at the same place, the same starting line, and it's going to be the same length and the same size. So you see how they share this starting line? Good. Okay. Now that I've drawn my 15 centimeter strips, the next thing is to divide them. I want to divide my first strip into thirds because my fraction is 2/3. So in order to do that, I have to think 15 centimeters divided by 3. for my denominator is what? 15 divided by 3 is 5. So that means I'm going to make a mark every 5 centimeters. Right there, and right there. And now I have thirds. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Now, for the next strip, I'm going to divide it into fifths. So I have 15 centimeter long strips. So I think 15 divided by 5 equals what? 3. So I'm going to draw a line every 3 centimeters in my second strip. 3, 6, 9, 12. And then 15 is the end. Oops. So now I have fifths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 equal sections. Awesome. So now to compare 2/3 and 3/5, what I need to do is shade in or highlight. I guess shade in would be the best. I need to shade in 2 out of 3 spaces. So on the top one, I'm going to highlight or shade in 2 out of 3. There we go. And on the bottom one, I'm going to shade in 3 out of the 5 sections. So I'm going to shade in 3 of them. Do it as neat as I can on this program. All right. Now that I've done that, I can compare. Since they both start at my starting line right here, I can think, which one is bigger, 2/3 or 3/5? And if we look, 2/3 goes up to here, 3/5 goes up to here. So 2/3 is bigger. Awesome. And I can put a greater sign there. 2/3 is greater than 3/5. Remember, the mouth always eats the bigger number because it's hungry. Let's do one more example. This time I'm going to compare 4/5 and 8/10. Now remember, the first step is to think, what's a number that my denominators, 5 and 10, both go into? Well, if I count by 5s, 5, 10, 15, 20, I know that 5 can go into 10. So that means I'm going to create strips that are 10 centimeters long. So, once again, I need my ruler. And now I can draw strips that are 10 centimeters long. So starting at the 0, as neat as I can, there's one strip, and now I make a second congruent strip, same length and size, and they both should start at the same point, my starting line right at the 0 on my ruler. Excellent. Now, since I have 10 centimeter strips, I have to ask myself, 10 divided by my denominator 5 equals what? 10 divided by 5 is 2. So I'm going to make a line every 2 centimeters. 2, 4, 6, 8, and then 10 is at the end. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've divided into 5. Excellent. And for my 8/10, I know since it's 10 centimeters long, 10 divided by 10 is 1. So I'm going to make a mark every 1 centimeter. As neat as I can using this ruler. There. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 equal sections. Now it's time to compare. Since I have 4/5 to compare, I'm going to highlight 4 out of the 5, or shade in 4 out of the 5 squares. And 8/10, I'm going to shade in 8 out of 10 squares. Alright, now that I've done that, I can compare. 4/5 went up to here, 8/10 goes up to there. That means these two are equal. Yes, 4/5 is equal to 8/10. And there you have it, comparing with chicken strips. I mean number strips. Yeah, number strips. That's what I meant. Number strips. All right, have fun and enjoy the fractions.